In this lesson, we're going to be checking for times, for valid times. 12:30 p.m., 1:15 a.m. in a standard format, which has a 2-digit hour, followed by a colon, followed by a 2-digit minutes, followed by an optional space and AM or PM. I'll just show some examples here. 12 o'clock PM would be a valid time. 1:23 would be a valid time even though the AM or PM is not noted. 1:23 XM would be an invalid time because that should be either AM or PM. And then finally, 12:22 without a colon would be an invalid time because there has to be a colon separating the hours from the minutes. So with those formats in mind, let's go ahead and write our code. I have an HTML document already created. All we have to do is fill in the regular expression as a value for our pattern variable. So let's get it started. We start off by anchoring at the beginning of the string. And then we're going to create a group. So we have an open parenthesis. And then we start with a 1 followed by a 0-2 indicating that the hour could be 10, 11, or 12. And then we provide a bar to say, or we could have a leading 0 and 1 through 9 for the hours instead. 08 o'clock, for example. Right here, we want to put a question mark to indicate that that's just a possibility. That finishes up the hours group, so we close with the parent, and then we type a colon, which has to match exactly. Then we have another group for the minutes, so the first digit of the minutes could be a 0 through 5 for 8 minutes or 10 minutes or 12 minutes or 23 minutes, and so on and so forth. And then we could have another 0 through 9 if we don't have a leading digit before that. And that wraps up minutes, and minutes were fairly easy compared to hours. And then we need a space, which matches literally, because if the user is going to write AM or PM, it's going to have a space first, and we're going to require that. And then we have a question mark to indicate that this is optional, and then we have an A and a P followed by an M. So it could be AM or it could be PM. We close off the group, and then we finish off the regular expression just like so. So let's save our file. We'll load it directly. Here's our form. So let's try 2:30 p.m. We check it, and that's a valid time. Let's take off the PM. We can't have the bar. That is also a valid time. Let's try a different time. 11:30 XM is invalid since it's got to be AM or PM. 01:30 is valid. 00:00 is an invalid time, as well it should be logically. And then finally, a time without a colon we know is going to be invalid. Let's look at one more possibility. That is a valid time. Matching the space after the minutes is optional. So it works without a space, or it works with a space, and with 3 spaces or 2 or 3 spaces, that makes it invalid. So for it to work, it has to be 0 spaces or 1 space like this to be a valid time. So let's go back and take a look at the regular expression one more time. And with that, we've wrapped up this lesson on validating time, or at least hour-minute time, using JavaScript.